Hey everybody, welcome to the 8th episode of the DM's Craft. I'm DM Scotty. Glad to have you here. I wanted to show you a little something before we got started. It is official. I have a DM's Craft t-shirt. Yeah, see, look. Oh, yeah, okay. So what I wanted to do today was a meeting hall that was going to be in the center of a town. I was doing for a campaign that where some ogres attacked this village, well actually a village, and this was going to be kind of the centerpiece of the battle, this meeting hall. And it has a lot of interesting features that I haven't shown before, so I wanted to go into depth in those in this video. This will be a multi-part video because I've got a lot to show you. So let's move on to tile making. Hey, I've got an interesting tile I'm working on. This is going to be a center of town for a village. So you can kind of see it's a pretty large tile, and kind of give you an idea. I've cut my strips for my walls, so I've got those already. I've also done some stairs, and I'll show you how I'm going to do those. And I've got a center for the tile. It's going to be a fire pit. So we'll start assembling this, and you can see what happens. Okay, I'm showing the front of my large building here, and I've got my steps. What I've done is I've done 3 different pieces. So these are descending order, a 1/2 inch wide. So this is 1.5 inches. This is an inch, and this is a 1/2 inch. Now I'm using the thin cardboard so that the stairs don't go higher above my tile. Now this tile is double thick cardboard because the tile's so big I want it to stand up. So I've used like a double thick cardboard. So I've used a thin cardboard for the stairs, and what I'll do is I'll assemble those. So I'm going to take the first stair, and I will glue the second stair to it. Sorry, I had to switch sides there. Okay, so I'll put some glue on the stair here. And there I glued that to the first stair. So you can see how we got that going. Now I have the last stair, so I'll glue that on. Okay, so my stairs are completed, and now I'm going to glue that on the front of the building here. So I'm going to do that in the center. So I'll put some glue on the back side of my stair. So now that is glued to the front of the building, and that's where the door will be, in the center there, the entrance. So now I have a fire pit. So this is just another piece of cardboard that I've cut, and I've got a little fire pit there. But with the fire pit, I want to put an edge on it, but I didn't want to make the edge as big as the wall. So I'm going to move my tile back here and set that there so you can see a little better. And I've cut some small strips to go on this, and as you can see, they're about half as thick as the walls, and it's the thinner cardboard. So what I'm going to do is I'll start gluing those on. So there we go, I got that finished. So you can see that there's an edge on the fire pit, but it's not as tall as the walls. It'll just give it some dimension. So now what I'm going to do is pull my tile up, and I'm going to put that in the center of the tile here. So, and I've already measured out the center of the tile. You want to have this ready beforehand so that when you do your hot glue, you're ready to go, because it dries very quickly, so you don't have time to figure it out while the glue's drying. So. Okay, so now I've got the center of the tile. You can see it's going to be the fire pit there. And then I've got the stairs on the front. And so I'll put the walls on there, and we'll proceed from there. So here's my completed tile. I put all the walls on, and I've had to angle them because there are some angles here on the walls. I'm going to do a few more embellishments to this tile. One thing I want to do is, this is like a raised area in the center. I want to have some steps going around the edges. So what I've done is I've cut some 1/2 inch strips, and I've cut off the corners there, and I'm going to glue those to the center. So I'll glue these on. There we go. So we got all that, and you can see we got all 4 steps going around the edge there. Now, one thing I'd like to do is I'd also like to add another embellishment where it looks like there are giant beams in this building. This is a ginormous building. It's the center of life in the village, and this is where that people go to for their village meetings and everything. So what I want to do is make the edges look like they have giant beams in them. So what I'm going to do is I've cut these 1/2 inch squares, and I'm going to put those in the corners. So I'll start putting those down now. So now you can see I've got those on all the corners of the buildings. You can see these little areas here. They're raised. And so those will make it look like it's a hefty structure, like it's very sturdy. So that's the basic tile. Now I'm going to move on to the doorways, and we'll do that next. So as you can see, I've got my doorway here. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the prison tile. I'm going to make a doorway to go in the front here. Now what has happened is the ogres have taken over town, so it's continuing with my campaign. So I'm going to make the door arch that's distressed, so it's going to look like it's smashed in. I'll put that on there. But first, before I glue it to the base, what I'm going to do is do what I did before and glue the edging on the doorway. Now I'll just clip that extra piece of cardstock off. And now I'll glue that to the base. So there we go, we got our doorway. Now I've explained before why I like to do it this way, because if you want to store the tile, you can lay it flat and then you don't have something sticking up. So you can just take this right off and store it separately, and then the tile lays flat, so you don't have any problem with that. I wanted to show you another embellishment I did. This is the door for the meeting house in the town that I'm making. And you can see I put some splintered wood on there, and that's really easy to do. All I did was glue it on with the white glue. Now you can see I have these two stir sticks here. These are thinner than popsicle sticks, that's why I like them. They're more to scale. These are just birchwood stir sticks that they use for stirring coffee. You can get a huge box of them, they'll last you forever. And basically what I did to do the splintered wood in the door is I just took these sticks and broke the rounded edge off. And you want to break it because it gives like a rough edge. If you cut them, they won't give a rough edge. So I'm just breaking these off. That's all I'm doing. Into small pieces. So I can see that. So I just continue to do that until you get as many as you want. So I've got my small pieces here. So now what I'm going to do is, these are still too big, so I'm going to, you can break them, even break them with your hand. They're very easy to break apart. So you can make even smaller boards. And then just continue to break. You can also use the scissors to cut some even smaller pieces off. If you want to vary the size, it's a little easier to vary the size with the scissors than it is to break it with your hand. So you could do that, and that's all I did. And then I used the white glue and then just glued them in the frame here. So it looks like they're boards that are shattered. And I put some on the base, so it made it look like the frame that broke fell to the ground. So that'll look really nice when we paint that up and put it in our meeting house.